In a world that thrives on streaming, the Superbox S5 Max steps up as your ultimate companion. With the latest Android 12.0, this device brings you closer to your favorite content. It's not just about watching, it's about commanding. With voice command support, you dictate the entertainment. Flaunting a 4GB DDR3 memory and 64GB eMMC internal storage, lag and buffering are things of the past. It's all about seamless, non-stop streaming. The dual-band Wi-Fi ensures you're always connected, always in the loop. But the real game changer? The high-definition video output. Imagine experiencing 6K resolution at 60 frames per second. That's as real as it gets. And if you ever miss out, the 7-day playback feature has got you covered, allowing you to rewind time on your terms. So why wait? Unleash the power of streaming with Superbox S5 Max, your ultimate streaming companion. Remember to back up your TV app and enjoy the ride.
So with that, let's get her out of the box, shall we? Now, it does say, bearing in mind it's for the American market, somewhere on here, it says recommended retail price. I did see it, I'm sure I did. Ah, there it is. MSRP, sorry, is $800 or just under. That's what it's saying on there. But look out for discounts. There will be discounts. If I can get you a discount, check out the video description. I will stick links in for discounts, links in for the actual product itself, in case you decide you want to buy one, whether you're in America or anywhere in the world. But like I said, you will need to make sure you get the right connector for it. Now, they did send me, thank you very much by the way, they did send me an actual UK plug adapter. But you can just buy a universal, and they're not expensive, they're quite cheap. So I have an adapter, so I'm quite pleased about that. So that is everything you get in the box. You get the actual mains adapter, 2-pin. Like I said, you will need an adapter. You get a HDMI lead. I would recommend you upgrade that straight away. Instructions. Remote control, have a quick look. Yeah, Superbox RC200. Nothing special. Where's the actual mic bit then? Should be up here, I would have thought somewhere. No, can't see it. Oh, there it is. That blue one there, that'd do it, wouldn't it? Yeah. Microphone, and it takes 2 treble A's. I had a look earlier. 2 aerials, like it said earlier. Superbox in blue. It's different though, isn't it? Some rubber feet on the bottom, some air vents on the bottom as well. On the side, we've got a TF card reader, a USB 1 insert there, USB 2 in there, and a restore. So that will restore it back to factory defaults. On the back, we had plug-in for mains, IR connection or sensor, AV, HD connection, which we will be using, networking, I probably will do that, and optical there for better sound. Some more air vents on the side, your digital display for S5 Max, and another sensor there. And that's it. Good night, God bless. So with that, I'm going to set it all up, or plug all into one of my TVs, and we're going to see what comes up first. You know, and see whether it plays sound or just does a loading screen, right? And then we'll go through what software you get before you do any downloads. And then hopefully there'll be some software on there for you to do more downloads, or it may be already downloaded. We don't know yet. Give me a second. The first test starting her up, and no audio for starting her up, or no sound effects, just image effects only. So wasn't expecting it really to make any sound. Most of them don't do that nowadays. Now there is a disclaimer. Make sure you read the disclaimer. It's very important. There might be software you may be downloading illegally, so make sure you read the disclaimer first before you do anything else, okay? That will make sure you know all the rules. Once you've done that, set up your Wi-Fi. I did say I was going to use Ethernet, but I thought it's very important to try out the Wi-Fi as well. So I'll set that up first. So looking at it, you don't actually get a lot of software to start with, but you get a speed tester, which I thought, well, that's quite interesting. Something else to bear in mind. If your speed is quite low to start with, it should improve because there'll be a lot going on in the background, because it's the first time you turned it on, and it will be doing some sort of updates and rearranging itself, or you might be doing downloads and installing them. So give it a few hours, if you like, for it to settle down. But I did do a speed test right at the beginning just to see how well it performed from the start. One more thing, make sure you do all the updates. I had done all the updates, or as many as I could do, because you're going to get a better experience if you do all the updates to start with. Just spend, maybe an hour or so, if it takes that long to do the updates, and do them. It'll pay for itself in the long run. You'll get a better experience. I did find 2 app stores, one called the Play Store and one called the App Store. Now, I would recommend you start off with the App Store and just download everything. Well, I did. Like I said, make sure you read the disclaimer because some of the software might be illegal in your country. I don't know. But you need to make sure you understand what you're actually downloading. I just downloaded everything because I wanted to try a bit of everything. And when you're downloading, you can just click on every one of them for download and it will put them in a queue and just download them as and when it gets to them. So it makes life a lot easier and installs them for you. Again, I've done another speed test after I'd done all the downloads and found it to be performing a lot better. Now, I did try out a lot of the apps and I found that some of them didn't play the actual program or film, but that could have been because it might not have been online at that time. It could have been I didn't wait long enough because it was still buffering, or it could have been something else. But the ones I did like are the blue ones, what I call the blue ones. Like, for instance, the PlayBack, Blue TV, Blue VOD. I like them ones and I found them to be very useful and they seem to work perfectly. And it's got some good content on there as well. Check it out. Now, I did find that at the beginning, some of them would buffer for a little bit, and then once they settled down, they would play perfectly. And some of them just play perfectly anyway. And quality of the image and quality of the audio, well, I couldn't see nothing wrong with them. The quality was pretty good on 99, well, say 95%, just to be on the safe side. Yeah, they was pretty good. I have no issue with that whatsoever. I'm quite surprised how good the quality is on, especially on video. One thing I did find annoying, and that was to do with the remote control or coming off an app. If you're in some of the apps, whether it be like the Kodi or one of the others, sometimes you had to press the button over a couple of times, or sometimes it just wouldn't let you out unless you went back to the home page. And I do find that annoying. And I found that on quite a few of these TV boxes that some apps, for whatever reason, they don't want to let you come back out. It can be a nightmare. You keep pressing that, or sometimes you had to go over to mouse and it would work like that instead of using the actual remote. So you had to press mouse on remote for it to come up with the mouse and then you could click back like that. And again, that can be annoying. Also, if you're scrolling through an app, you might have to sometimes actually use the mouse option again to click on the actual item you're trying to click on because for whatever reason, when using the remote, it wouldn't move over to where you wanted it. And again, I found that very annoying. But apart from that, it seems to work really well. There's a couple of things I want to go through. The first one is I downloaded Ada and I'm going to show you some of the spec. I'm not going to go through everything that Ada shows because it could take quite a while and you might find it a bit boring. So I'm just going to show you the essentials, if you like. Also, I'm going to show you a little game I was playing just to test it out on gaming, but it seemed to work just fine, although I did use a remote control for this. Like I said, I used the remote control. Ideally, you want a gaming stick or gaming controller, ideally. The same as when you're setting it up, and this is the same for any TV box. I prefer to use a keyboard and mouse or wireless keyboard and mouse for setting up, especially for typing in things like your email address for when you're first setting up your account. Once you've done it first time, you don't need it no more. Same with gaming. It's one of those things you can find a little bit frustrating if you're using an actual remote control to control a device or a game. You might find, just buy a controller. It's so much simpler. So I just want to get them bits out of the way. One thing you will need to do if you wish to use the actual voice control, the microphone, you need to sync it to your actual box, and it's quite easy to do. All you need to do is hold down the OK button and the back button at the same time for about 8 seconds, and it will come up on the screen saying pairing or something like that. And it just takes a few seconds and then it syncs up and you can actually use it. Now, with the voice remote, I did find it a little bit frustrating because it wasn't going to everything I wanted it to go to. And I think it's to do with Google, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if it's the actual remote or anything like that. It's quite a nice remote, by the way. It's got a nice little feel to it. Obviously it's got a couple of batteries. It doesn't feel too light, and it doesn't feel cheap. And it's got nice curved edges on it to keep it nice and smooth. I was quite impressed with that. Also, I didn't actually set the remote up to the TV, because you can set this so that you can turn the TV on and off if you want as well. But I didn't bother doing anything like that. I did on one of my others, verdict time. And again, this is the same on any TV box. I do find them a little bit frustrating if you're going from keyboard to mouse, because sometimes, especially when you're doing a bit of typing, if you're using one of these, sometimes you have to go over to mouse, because it has a mouse option on it to scroll up, and then you have to come off a mouse to do your typing. I do find that a little bit frustrating sometimes. It's very annoying. So that's why I said again, you may be better off getting a USB mouse and keyboard. You only need one of them little tiny ones that I've got. You don't need a great big full keyboard, unless you want to, of course. So with that, it definitely gives my thumbs up. It's got some nice software on there. It's easy to set up whether you're using wireless or networking. Now, I didn't actually try the networking in the end. I was going to, and I know I said I would, but it's going to work. You're going to get a better performance. And also, I was running on a 1080 rather than, say, 4K, 6K or anything like that. I haven't got any 6K to run it on, but it seems to run well with 1080p, and the graphics look really good as well. And the other thing I liked about it is metal or tin, so it keeps it cooler. It didn't really get hot, got a little bit lukewarm, but it never got hot. And also, I did try out the 2 USBs. Didn't try out the TF card or the TF card reader, but I can't see why it wouldn't work. Why would you put something on there that doesn't work? I know I should have tried it, but I didn't. Yeah, like I said, definitely gets my thumbs up. It's got some nice bits of software on it. I did find, like I said earlier, that some didn't play instantly, some took a bit of time for them to buffer, and some didn't work at all, and that might be, like I said earlier, they might not have been online at that time. So with that, let me know in the comments whether you're thinking about buying one or whether you bought one. As always, I will stick links in the video description in case you want to buy one, or in case you want to buy this one. And if you do buy this one and you do click on my affiliated links, I'll get a little tiny kickback. And I mean tiny, alright? It's nothing massive. It doesn't cost you any more money whether you click on my links or not. It's the same price wherever you go. Well, if you go to the places I've put the links in for, of course. So with that, if you found this video entertaining, informative, or anything else, and you enjoyed it, click on the bell to get notified, subscribe, of course, and give me the thumbs up. And if you have any questions, you know what to do, post them in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching.